It is 2024 and you're probably thinking, is it worth getting a Asus Rog Ally? You have the Steam Deck OLED, you have the MSI Claw, which is soon to be released, you have the Lenovo Legion Go, and you have so many other portable PC consoles that you can really choose a big list from. And why go with the Asus Rog Ally in 2024? And is it worth it? I'll tell you right off the hand that, to me personally, it's worth it. It's probably going to be the fastest video you've ever seen. If you're interested in getting the Asus Rog Ally, I do have it in the description box down below. But if you're looking for more details about the Asus Rog Ally, there is a lot to know about it. There are some positives, and of course, there are some negatives which they could work on. So let's get straight to it. And the first thing I do have to mention first, it is one of the lightest portable PC consoles out there. It really is, you don't really have to lift like I do here, but you don't really have to lift too heavy. You can easily hold this one-handed, and it's not really a unwieldy beast such as the Steam Deck OLED. Sorry, I had to put that out there for you Steam Deck fans because it is quite large and massive, but it does have its reasonings, and it does have extra controls such as little mice control. But we'll get to the controls in a little bit with the Asus Rog Ally, but I do want to talk mainly about a lot of other features that the Asus Rog Ally does have, which are pretty exclusive to this console. One of the things is not only is it light, it is quite portable for what it is. It is quite thin, and I have all the dimensions and everything all listed in the description box, so I don't bore you with that. It is really easy to take on the go, where you have kids, where they take up the TV, then at least the Asus Rog Ally is a really good fit for you. You're waiting for your car's tires to get changed, or you're on a long flight. Maybe you're taking a long flight, 5 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, whichever flights that you take, it might be a while, and you're wondering if the Asus Rog Ally can really last on a flight as so. But that's another thing I will get to. Completely customizable. It does have the Windows 11 OS on there. And a lot of you might be saying, especially if you're a Steam Deck fan, that is not going to really slow down your portable PC if you have Windows on here. And I gotta tell you, the more portable version of Windows 11 is quite smooth, and it is quite reactionary. So whenever you click on whatever programs that you need to use, or whichever apps that you want to use for your Asus Rog Ally, it works pretty snappy. There is no really delay on it unless you're opening up a bunch of different programs, and then you're asking a lot out of your Asus Rog Ally, because remember, it is limited to the hardware capabilities that it currently has. Now, if you don't know already, there's two different versions of the Asus Rog Ally. Now you got the Z1, which is without the Extreme version, the same specifications as the Z1 Extreme. The only difference is that it's just not Extreme. It's a much more improved version. I highly recommend to get more of the Extreme version because it has more capabilities compared to the regular Z1, unless you don't mind doing a lot more cloud gaming, which is really something that the Z1, the regular Z1 can handle. Really, any type of console can really handle any typical cloud gaming. You just have to have fast enough internet. But let's put that to the side real quick. I want to talk to you about the specifications. It does have 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5, up to 6400 megahertz of speed. It does come with 512 gigabytes of storage, which is kind of the negative side, because now we're starting to see a lot more storage when it comes to the portable PC side. You're starting to see a lot more 1 terabyte drives that are being released with the portable PC consoles that they do have out there. I gotta mention a couple things for you guys out there, especially who look forward to, like, say, this SD card feature right here. I gotta tell you right now, it practically doesn't exist on this console, or it practically doesn't exist on this portable PC, because Asus said that they were gonna look into fixing it. Originally, it was a software issue, but then suddenly, it wasn't ever talked about again.
Why do you shamelessly waste my time like this?
I don't know.
If you plan to use the SD card slot, I wouldn't recommend using it. If you want to get more storage out your Asus Rog Ally, just upgrade the SSD. It's really not that difficult. I have a video based on it, and if you already have an Asus Rog Ally, you can check out that video on how to expand your storage. I gotta say, it's one of the best consoles to work on. It's really easy to take apart to expand your storage. I even changed out the joysticks because now they originally came with analog joysticks, which is a negative. Of course, Asus wanted to make this console a lot more cost effective. Some people out there might feel that this console feels cheap because of how light it is, and it feels more like a toy than an actual PC console. But I can tell you, because of the type of material that it is built on, and Asus is really usually ahead when it comes to the type of materials that they use, it is quite impressive. They use aluminum shielding. The vapor chamber system in the Asus Rog Ally is really impressive, and it does have 2 fans inside, keeps it pretty decently cool. Now, when it comes to the controls, it feels very similar to an Xbox. Now, the analog controls that the Asus Rog Ally does come with isn't really the greatest, I have to tell you. This is one of the negative sides. When you are using the analog controls, it can feel quite wobbly, especially when you're playing first-person shooters such as Modern Warfare 3, or maybe you're a Fortnite fan, or whichever type of first-person shooter that you are into. These joysticks are a bit wobbly and they can feel off. You could be swinging your weapon and then suddenly you're aiming at the sky. The last place you want to aim for, especially if you're trying to hit your target. Now, what I personally done, and what many people do when they have an Asus Rog Ally, is swap out the sticks that are in here, the cheap analog sticks that are in here, and replace it with Hall effect joysticks, which makes quite the difference. But the Asus Rog Ally does feature Hall effect triggers, which is excellent because there is a reason why they did not use Hall effect joysticks for this originally, is because it's too close between the left trigger and the left joystick. So they didn't really install any Hall effect joysticks, and that was one of the reasonings from Asus. But we all know that they could have done a little bit more and improved it and actually put Hall effect joysticks. Who knows? Maybe they'll do it on the Asus Rog Ally too. One of the best features that this really does have is the gyroscope feature. It's impressive, it's amazing, and it works excellent, especially when you are on first-person shooters. It makes up pretty much for the whole joystick issues that the Asus Rog Ally really has. Now, it does come with Armory Crate Lite. Everybody hates Armory Crate on PC, understandably so, but Armory Crate Lite works excellent when it comes to setting up controls, calibration, joysticks. It's a lot better than when the device first came out. When it first released, you had only so many options when you could go into Armory Crate Lite. You only had so much you can do when you adjust your joysticks, when you adjust your Hall effect triggers on the back of your controller. There was not really a lot you can do, but now you can set up, they have different responsive curves when it comes to your joysticks. They even have dead zones and anti-dead zones you can adjust. Now, the gyroscope is something you can calibrate yourself. Once you calibrate it, it works flawlessly. That was pretty dope, right? You gotta admit, that was pretty dope. The controls are really good. It's just like an Xbox controller, so we're over that part. Now, the screen is decent. It is 1280 by 1920, so it's a full 1080p display. It is a full robust 7-inch display that you can stare into the screen and really enjoy all your games on. Not only that, but it can go up to 120 frames per second when you are gaming. And so far, every game that I've thrown at it, whether it is the toughest games, such as Cyberpunk 2077, plays excellent. Even Starfield works excellent. Palworld, excellent. A 2024 game. There is anything that I threw at this device really had no issues. Even Baldur's Gate 3 worked excellent on the Asus Rog Ally. Now, let's go more into the problematic side. Now, we all know one of the biggest downfalls when it comes to portable PC gaming is the fact about battery life. The battery life is not the greatest. Now, there's 3 different modes when you are playing on the Asus Rog Ally. You have silent, which you never game on. Anyone who has the Asus Rog Ally can tell you that. Never game on silent. They have a 15 watt mode where it is called performance mode. Performance mode is very comfortable to game on, and it is much more energy efficient, especially if you are gaming on the go. And the high power performance mode, where it can go up to 25 watts to 30 watts, not really a difference between there, regardless of what anybody tells you, 25 watts and 30 watts are practically the same thing. But anyway, that is where you can get your maximum frame rates, especially when you are gaming. And it is very possible a lot of the titles that you do play on the Asus Rog Ally can really reach the next level, where you can really push up to 120 frames per second. This is where the downfall is. When you're gaming on performance mode, when you are gaming at 15 watts, the most you can get out of the Asus Rog Ally, and I've tested it dozens of times, is about an hour 30 to an hour 45 minutes. And this is just on regular performance mode, the 15 watt mode. Let alone if you game on the 25 watt mode, you're not really gonna game on this very long. You may game about 45 minutes, a maximum maybe about an hour if you're lucky. So that is the negative side of when it comes to the battery life. What about the temperatures? About gaming on such heavy games such as, like, say, Starfield. Now, when you are gaming on a game like, say, Starfield, the temperatures can get pretty hot on the device. Now, this is, I'm talking about without modification. This is all stock settings. Of course, you can adjust throttles of your CPU and everything, but I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to talk off of stock settings. But if you do have settings that you would like to share, put it in the comments right down below. But anyway, to get to the point, if you're gaming such as Starfield, it works excellent. The game works flawlessly. I could get decent frame rates. I could get about 40 to 45 frames per second. Now, the problem is the heat does go a little bit high. If you saw my video about modding Starfield, you could see how hot the device can actually get. Before, it would reach about, I almost pushed it to almost like 86, 87 degrees Celsius. Now, it usually is around about 80 degrees Celsius at the most. Now, the good thing is the external fans are up here on the top of the device. So when you are gaming on here, you don't really feel the heat on the back of the device, but it exits out. Now, if you put your fingers a little bit over on top of these fans, you can quite feel the heat. But if your fingers stay on the triggers or just like off the triggers barely, you won't really feel any heat at all. So the device can get pretty hot when you are gaming on it. You don't see any type of scoring or any type of burn marks. You don't see any type of real wear on the device where it looks obvious that there was a lot of heat going through the device. So Asus made that very well when it comes to that side. For those who don't really use PCs too often and you're getting interested in something like a portable PC, it's a great investment option, or it's a great thing to even try out, because it can really get you comfortable on using a PC if you've never used a PC before. And it's really easy to use. It really feels like more like a PC as a console, because when you do use this device, it's very easily accessible to get to the updates. Everybody who has Windows PCs knows how much of a pain updates can really be on a device or on any type of PC. The Asus Rog Ally really makes it easy with Armoury Crate Lite, because you can do all the updates within Armoury Crate Lite and also on My Asus, which is also another update center inside of the Asus Rog Ally. Of course, the Windows updates itself, so practically you have three things really updating the device for you, where you don't really have to go in and manually install the drivers. There are also much more better improvements when it comes to AMD's anti-lag. There's also great improvements when it comes to AMD's FSR, and the control panel is much more better as well. You got to check out the list of the top Asus Rog Ally accessories that I do recommend for this device, because you cannot leave home without these accessories, I got to tell you, because they are great to have. Now, the touch display works great without any issues, and the fingerprint reader up here on the top where the power button is works great as well. If you do plan to take this on the go, if you take this on flights, especially on a long flight, you're gonna need something like the Anker Powerbank. That is something I personally have, It is a great device. It could charge even a laptop. You're going to need a hefty Anker Powerbank, because that is one of the best things you can definitely invest in. Unfortunately, the Asus Rog Ally only comes in one color. They only have white currently out there in the market. They do not have any other colors out currently. But I can tell you, I do love the color of this. The RGBs are also easy to adjust inside of an armor carry light. That can also save battery as well if you turn those off. And the speaker, the sound that it comes with, the Dolby, is actually, it sounds like you are gaming on a theater. That's how great the speakers are. I love it. Is the Asus Rog Ally worth it in 2024? I gotta tell you, it is a definite yes for me. Of course, there is its quirks where it does have its issues where Asus can really improve on, especially when they come up with the next upcoming Asus Rog Ally. So fam, guys, I hope you found this content very useful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you know anybody else who is into Asus Rog Ally, make sure you share this video with them. And also, if not part of the big wonderful fan band, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button for more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. And for all the newest updates, make sure you follow my X handle right here, as it is the same as my TikTok and IG as well. Fam, guys, what are your thoughts about the Asus Rog Ally? Or do you have a portable PC that you recommend to everybody else out there? Let me know. Let everyone know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Mizo, signing out.